Hi, I'm Pete Denman. I'm an interaction and user experience designer at Intel Corporation. I'm dyslexic and a quadriplegic. I've been at Intel now for about 11 years, and I'm most famously known for helping design the user interface for Professor Stephen Hawking. Using the word student wouldn't actually define what I did in school. It was more of a window gazer, and I failed the third grade, which is just a huge source of shame. I mean, I couldn't even talk about it without getting tears in my eyes for years, but now I talk about it. Well, both of my parents have been super influential. They're constantly a source of support, both in my physical disability and in my LD. When I was growing up, my folks took me to these vision specialists and psychologists, and then finally they got me into the Norton Gillingham School of Education, and I learned how to read at that point. I jumped like 8 grade levels in my reading and comprehension skills in the course of about 2 years. My niece is dyslexic, and she's not ashamed of it. She's a crazy talented writer, she's a crazy talented artist, and I just encourage people to do those things, because being bad at spelling doesn't mean you're a bad storyteller. In fact, I'm a great storyteller. I love to write, but I can't spell. I didn't succeed until I got into something that I could control, which was college. I was able to succeed, and I used my physical disability to hide my learning disability. And I even hesitate to call it a learning disability, because I don't feel like people test correctly. If you were to test me on the scale of things I'm good at, most people without my abilities would fail. I'm naturally sort of artistic. I just have always liked to put things together, and that's design. Design is artistic, it is, but it's also it's mostly problem solving. If you like to get your hands dirty and work on things, that's design. You're constantly thinking through a problem about how to get somewhere. And before my injury, that's what I like to do. I like to do those things. It just happened to translate itself into design when I became injured. I think I probably would have been some sort of fine word worker or something like that if I hadn't been disabled. After my injury, I spent a lot of time watching television and not wanting to do anything. And in an attempt to get me interested in something, my mom enrolled in an art history class, something that she was interested in. And she asked me to go along with her and audit the class. It was really interesting. And at some point, there was a test. I took it, and I got an A on the test. And it was this aha moment that, it wasn't even an aha moment, it was this striking slap in the face that I wasn't stupid, that I could perform on the same level as everybody else, and I could do it if I had the tools to do it. And the tools were the accommodations that they gave me for being in a wheelchair. They gave me test taker, somebody that would write down my answers. They gave me people who would take notes in the class. They gave me digitized books, and they allowed me extra time on the test. These opportunities that I never had when I was in school, these things didn't exist for me. It was a thrilling thing that I knew suddenly that I wasn't stupid, that I could succeed at something. Stephen had asked Intel if he could have some help getting his speech rate increased, because he felt like his disability was increasing and he needed some help with it. And Intel's been a friend and a sponsor of Stephen for years, and so we decided to go over and check it out. And so I swung over from Ireland, where I was, and I met Stephen for the first time. And the very first time that I met him, it blew me away that I was in the presence of Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest thinkers of our time, and that I was on this project that was so important to such an important man and to the company. And I took it really seriously. Oftentimes you think about things in hindsight and think, oh, that was pivotal. I was there, I knew it was pivotal. It was scary. And I took that away, and we began to work with Stephen over the course of the next few years. And I've had the pleasure of actually really helping him out. He actually uses the software that we've created for him, and it's increased, I think that it's increased his standards. Understanding Stephen's affordance and his needs, really diving into the complexities of the individual. An affordance in design terms is something that you're used to doing over and over again. People know how to drive an automobile because they can drive any automobile. They can get into a Toyota or a Ford or whatever car it is, and the steering wheel's in the same place, the pedals are in the same place. Doesn't matter if it's electric or gas, the car's gonna drive. Being in a wheelchair, you can't, I don't change my structure, the way that my chair works. Even chair to chair, it has to, the tolerances need to be perfect. The wheelbase needs to be the same. The height needs to be the same. The width, everything about that chair needs to be spot on. Otherwise, it's like learning to walk again. And we needed to be that cognizant of Stephen's needs, plus give him the tools and the opportunities to give him something better than what he had. So we had to design a better car. I'm dyslexic, is the best way to do it. And then show your work. Do good work and tell people you're dyslexic. Be open about it. I mean, the last thing you want to do is have people go, why didn't you read that email all the way? Or why is this spelled so crappy? If I send somebody an email and there is spelled wrong or your is spelled wrong or something's weird in it, I go, oh, well, it's Pete. You know, he's dyslexic. But did you see that thing that he did last week? And you know, it's they get it. I work with some really great people. I've never encountered it. I mean, actually, I used to be so scared to share the fact that I had dyslexia with people, but I don't anymore. It's so out there. I mean, I'm not like, I don't have it tattooed across my forehead, but if I go to a restaurant, I might just tell the waitress, I'm dyslexic, what's good on the menu? A Wacom tablet, a Mac, and the Adobe Suite. All of those things on a day-to-day basis, I use those every day. I have mentors, there's people that I look up to. I work with some of the smartest people that I've ever met, and I always feel like I'm struggling to keep up. I mean, these people are bright. I'm in labs at Intel, and I feel every day like, how the hell did I get in here? My favorite thing in the world to do is to travel. I'm always looking for that opportunity. I've been to India, I've been to Europe many times. When I get on a plane, I try to go as far as I possibly can and experience the most different kind of thing that I possibly can. Well, not usually, but yesterday I got off the plane and walked about 15 gates the wrong direction until I realized I was going up in numbers and not down. I was like, oh, damn it. Being disabled physically and having a learning disability means organizational skills squared. It also means being polite, and you always have to be on. You always have to be thinking. You always have to be problem solving. Everything's in my calendar. Everything's in the calendar that I'm traveling with. Everybody that knows me knows where I'm at. I've talked to everybody that's involved with where I'm going and how I'm getting there. But then there's certain times and certain places where I'm very independent and very out on a limb, and I just do it. I probably would still never tell anybody about it. I would never I wouldn't be open about it. I wouldn't have opportunities. And honestly, I kind of believe that I wouldn't be where I am unless I would have had the physical disability. Now, the physical disability is tragic. I wouldn't ever wish it on anyone. But the physical disability was a stepping stone, and I managed to leverage that into something different. The two of them combined, I think, have been powerful in my life together.